The Legend of the Holy Grail, Arin Cade Adventure. High in the French Pyrenees, within the hushed walls of a quiet monastery, Arin Cade leaned over a manuscript, its parchment fragile with age. For centuries, monks had guarded this text, one of the last clues to the Holy Grail, lost since the Middle Ages. On the page, a simple cup glowed with radiant light, a riddle inscribed beneath it. The cup of kings rests where shadows touch the rising sun. The monks watched him, their faces etched with reverence and hope. For Arin, this wasn't just a clue. It was the start of his next great quest. He felt the familiar thrill of discovery, a pull toward the unknown. The legend was real, and he was on its trail. The riddle led him to a vast, mist-covered forest, where the air was thick with ancient secrets. Carved into the bark of towering trees were symbols he recognized from the manuscript, intricate Celtic knots, weathered crosses, and strange compass designs. They seemed to whisper a hidden language, guiding him deeper into the woods. The birdsong here was unusual, almost melodic, as if a faint, unseen orchestra was leading him forward. Following the strange melody and the silent language of the trees, he pushed aside a curtain of thick vines and discovered what he was looking for, an ancient stone archway, swallowed by time, leading down into the earth. With a deep breath, he stepped into the darkness. As he descended, torches lining the passage walls flared to life on their own, casting flickering shadows that danced around him. The air grew still and heavy with history. Along the corridor stood suits of armor, gleaming as if they had been polished only yesterday. These belonged to the legendary Order of the Grail, silent sentinels guarding this sacred path. At the end of the hall, a heavy stone tablet blocked his way. Engraved upon it were the words, "Only the pure of heart may continue." Arin reached out, his fingers tracing the ancient script. He touched the stone not with force, but with respect for the knights who had come before him. With a low rumble, the stone slid open, revealing the next trial. He entered a cavern of mirrors, its floor a shallow pool of water that shimmered like liquid silver. As he took a step forward, his own reflection fractured, splitting into a dozen different versions of himself. One was brave and confident, another was small and fearful. One sneered with greed, while another smiled with kindness. It was a test of the soul. A soft voice echoed around him, seeming to rise from the water itself. The Grail reveals the heart. Arin knew he had to choose. He looked past the shadows of his own fear and selfishness and focused on the reflection that embodied his true purpose, the one showing courage and a desire to protect, not possess. As he made his choice, the other reflections dissolved into mist, and a new path opened in the cavern wall. The path led to the edge of a deep, bottomless chasm. There was no bridge, no way across. Despair began to creep in, but then Arin noticed something. Thin beams of sunlight pierced through cracks in the cavern ceiling high above. He remembered the riddle, where shadows touch the rising sun. Taking out his own lantern, he began to angle its beam, aligning it with a series of polished silver plates embedded in the cavern walls. As the lights connected, a miracle happened. The beams of light solidified, weaving together to form a glowing, translucent bridge. It shimmered in the darkness, a pathway made of pure light. Holding his breath, he stepped onto the bridge, crossing the chasm in awe of the ancient magic. On the other side, a grand chamber opened up. Seated on a stone throne was a knight in gleaming golden armor, silent and still as a statue. As Arin approached, the knight rose to his feet. He was a guardian, but instead of drawing a sword, he spoke, his voice calm and powerful. "Why do you seek the Grail?" Arin didn't hesitate. He answered with the truth that guided all his adventures. "To protect history, not to control it. Some things are meant to be remembered, not owned." The knight studied him for a long moment, his gaze seeming to pierce right through to Arin's soul. Finally, the guardian nodded. In a gesture of profound respect, he knelt, revealing a hidden doorway concealed behind the throne. "You may proceed, Seeker." Arin stepped through the doorway and into a breathtaking cavern that seemed to glow with a soft, heavenly light. In the very center, on a pedestal entwined with ancient flowering vines, rested the Holy Grail. It was not a grand, jewel-encrusted chalice, but a simple golden cup, small and elegant. Yet it radiated a palpable warmth and a sense of profound peace that filled the entire chamber. With deep reverence, Arin approached. As his fingers brushed against the stone pedestal, the Grail pulsed with light, growing brighter and brighter until the entire cavern was bathed in its pure, gentle glow. It was a moment suspended in time, the culmination of a journey centuries in the making. The Grail spoke to him, not with words, but with a wave of pure feeling that washed over his mind. "I do not grant power," it seemed to say. "I reveal truth." He lifted the cup. It was surprisingly light. Peering inside, he saw no liquid, but visions swirling like starlight vignettes from history, moments of quiet kindness, selfless sacrifice, and unwavering hope. He saw the best of humanity reflected in its depths. The Grail wasn't a weapon or a source of eternal life. It was a mirror, a reminder of the good that exists within every heart. Understanding its true purpose, Arin knew it didn't belong to him. He gently returned the cup to its pedestal. The light softened, as if the chamber itself accepted his choice. Suddenly, the ground began to shake violently. The ancient chamber groaned, and massive beams cracked overhead. The trial was over, and the sanctuary was sealing itself once more. Adrenaline surged through him. Arin raced back the way he came. He sprinted across the bridge of light as it dissolved into motes of dust behind him. He ran through the cavern of mirrors, the walls now just cold stone. He passed the guardian knight, who was once again a silent statue on his throne. Tunnels collapsed, filling the air with dust and falling rock. With a final desperate leap, he dove through the stone archway just as it slammed shut, sealing the secrets of the Grail away from the world forever. He emerged back into the forest, blinking in the dawn light. The chaos of the collapse was gone, replaced by the calm of the morning. The rising sun painted the sky in shades of gold and pink, just as the first riddle had promised. He hadn't taken the Grail, but he left with something far more valuable. He felt a small weight in his pocket and pulled out a simple silver cross, a token from the guardian knight. He held it tight, a symbol of his renewed purpose. Arin Cade looked to the horizon, a smile touching his lips. Another legend solved, and 1,000 more waiting. He adjusted his pack and walked toward the rising sun, ready for his next great adventure. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow for more legends unearthed.